Hi everyone, hope you like this layout. I'm kind of hiding the moves right now because I entered all of them. I don't know how to use, um, how do you call it, like training mode. This will be a video, hopefully not too long, about two games I played on Saturdays, so rounds 2 and 3. I was white and black in both of them and I didn't win either of them, so I know you might find it hard to believe at some point, but let's try to go through this quickly. So I had white here against a lower rated opponent, but in this group maybe I said that the ratings are pretty close to each other. So I was number 60 in the group, but even number 1 was only about 100 points higher than me. So d4, d5 I played, and this was against somebody who was 120, but again only about 100 points lower rated than me. c4, e6, knight c3, knight f6, and now I just exchanged on d5. And bishop g5, this is the exchange variation of the Queen's Gambit declined. Bishop e7, Queen c2, c6, e3. And now came the first surprise. He just played bishop g4, so this bishop, of course, doesn't have a good square, but it doesn't mean that you need to develop it to g4. It's okay as a move, but it doesn't really serve the purpose it's meant to be. So the idea is something like rerouting it to h5 and g6. Bishop d3, I just went on with my normal plan. And now I thought, yeah, actually I have my natural plan here is f3 and e4, and he's just accelerating it for me. f3, bishop h5, knight g2, bishop g6. And now I thought, well, I haven't castled yet, so it's a bit risky, but he also hasn't castled yet. So maybe it's okay, I just went for e4. h6, he played, and then I thought, let's just do this. So he hasn't taken an e4, so let's take advantage of this. I took an f6, he took back with a knight, and e5 now with a tempo. Of course he can exchange on d3, so I'm not winning a piece, but I am actually in a pretty good position here. So he played knight h7, where I was thinking if he plays knight d7, I was gonna play e6, which is kind of a flashy move, but he doesn't need to take this. This is what I kind of missed. And if he doesn't take it, then even though I can destroy his castling position or take away his castling rights, I don't really have anything here. So if I play knight f4, I don't have anything yet, so he just defends. So bishop d6, queen g6 check, and as you can see, the computer's not impressed. It's not exactly an attack if all I have are two pieces. So yeah, and then the computer just suggested just castling, and then he will probably castle artificially here. It's not a bad move, but it's kind of giving away the advantage. So I just castled, he castled, and now f4 is a very natural move. You want to play f5, e6, or f6, or something, yeah. So it's a very fluid position for me. It's a very pleasant edge for white. And it's not just an edge, it's a pretty serious, I can develop pretty serious threats pretty quickly, so it's also a dangerous position. And of course this knight has no squares right now, so all of these guys are covered. Of course he could go to f8 and to e6, but if he does that, of course I can just play f5. So having seen all this, my opponent decided to play f5 to physically stop my pawn from moving. Of course I'm not gonna take this en passant, because that would give his knight, so this would be a really bad move. I mean, I can show it, right? I could take this, but now his knight is back in the game. And to make matters worse, he has the open f file, not I. So queen h3 I played with the idea of simply ganging up on f5. Of course, g6 you don't want to play. So queen h3. He just played queen d7, covering f5 as a kind of a prophylaxis. I played knight g3 here. So very simple stuff, attacking f5. And maybe at some point playing knight h5. But I wasn't really sure. I was just improving on my pieces. I knew that I have an advantage. Computer wanted to play knight e1, sorry, knight d1, but not so important, I think. Knight g3 must be a decent move. Now he decided to lash out, and basically this lashing out cost him the game, or well, it should have cost him the game. As mentioned, I didn't win either of these games. c5, I just took. I decided, why not? I have several of these weak pawns now to attack, and now he just pushed with d4, and this is a pretty serious blunder. He wanted to take back on c5, but first harass my knight. But I guess it's pretty easy to see, but it took me about 15 minutes to realize that I can play knight ce4. Of course, the pawn is pinned. So now after queen d5 attacking my, well, it's not actually attacking my knight, but it's the most natural thing I can do after this is to jump into d6. He took my pawn, and now I took his pawn. So I'm a pawn up here, and d4 doesn't look very healthy. And I have these monster knights here, and he has this really bad knight. So in total, the computer thinks it's about plus 3.2. So it's obviously winning position for white, and you don't need a computer for that, or you don't need like a supercomputer for this conclusion. So knight g takes f5, bishop d6. I throw in this little check. I thought it was kind of cute. Of course, I could have just taken the bishop as well. I just gave this check, king in the corner, knight b5, knight d6. So now I'm threatening all kinds of stuff. It's not nice, yeah. So queen c7 he played, trying to protect stuff. And now I just decided to harass the queen a bit longer. I don't want to give him too much counterplay, so I thought I will first improve my position and then maybe start snatching pawns. So rook a d8. I thought, okay, he's not actually threatening anything. Queen takes d4. And now he played a tricky move, which I obviously overlooked. Knight f6. So I can't take this knight, because then he can take my knight as well. And I thought, okay, that's fine. Right now I'm 2 pawns up. I thought, well, if I take the other 2 pawns, what are the odds of me not winning this? So queen a7, knight e8, queen b7. This is what I played. And I knew that this costs one pawn. But I thought, well, I mean, I will have 3 pawns. I will figure something out. What the computer significantly prefers was knight c4, after which this knight is again a little bit dumb. Knight c7 you don't want to play, because that drops a pawn. So of course it continues a bit, but it's smarter in this case to keep on some pieces on the board. But I mean, queen b7 is not bad. He played knight d7, and now this was my of course I was attacking his queen, so he can't take the knight yet. I have a kind of a complicated decision to make here. I just went back to b3, thinking maybe at some point I need to cover d1 if I want to put my rooks there. Not sure if that's the important stuff. Computer slightly preferred queen b4. Takes, takes, takes. And now just a4. But it's not like I couldn't have... so queen b3 wasn't bad. Yeah, oops, yeah, okay. Okay, that went a bit too far. Sorry, I lost track. So queen b3 I played, and now he took the knight. So this costs him a pawn, and now the thing is, it's a very open position, of course. My king position is also a bit open, so I need to pay attention here. I need to cover all my pawns and slowly start pushing down. So these positions can be a bit tricky to play, but I have 3 pawns and the move, so I get to kind of make the first stab at my opponent. He's not threatening anything. I can try to threaten something, although he has, of course, less targets because he literally has less, not pieces, but you know what I mean, pieces and pawns, well, less pawns. I played an inaccuracy here, rook c1, after which he has a check, king h1, and now rook b8. So as you can see, now he's attacking several stuff. So he's attacking 1, 2, and let's say 3. So 3 different stuff, and this rook can get active. And I don't have a good counter strike here. So I played rook e7 here, which I thought was cute. It is definitely cute, but it gives away all my advantage. On the other hand, I should have played queen c4, kind of covering the stuff. And if he takes now on b2, I have a counter attack. So this is what I missed. Check, check, check. So hopefully you will see that these positions are actually a bit tricky to play. And now check, king up, takes. So this would have been quite a pretty finish, of course. But yeah, so this was the main point. Of course, this rook has defensive duties as well, so I totally missed that. Now the computer wants to come into the second rank, and then this line continues. But rook e7 is just wrong, so he can take. I take. Of course, I didn't blunder my queen, but I did just forget that he can come into the second rank. Rook g1. This is actually not what I played. I played h3, come in, rook g1, rook a2, rook a2, rook a2, and now this is a 3-2 position, which is a well-known draw. But I play down for about another 20 moves or so. I'm not gonna show you any of that. I played on. Actually, I didn't play that bad, but if I wanted to win this game, I had some chances before. So it's kind of interesting. The question is, how many pawns do you need to rake up to be able to win the game? And in this case, I raked up 4. And it wasn't quite enough. It became too open too early, and I just kind of panicked and lost it. It's not really that I thought, oh, I'm just winning, I can play whatever. I just somehow couldn't untangle all of these active possibilities that he suddenly had. So keeping that knight on the board here would have been a good idea. Kind of keeping his position cramped and my position more compact at the same time. It's kind of interesting, and I think this was my main problem. And then, of course, miscalculating some stuff. I'm not going to say that, oh, it can happen to anyone. It can, but it shouldn't be my main goal in life, right? Okay, so what about the second position? Sadly, I showed you one of the very later positions. I had black against, again, slightly weaker opponent. But I figured out that it doesn't work like that. I can't just say, oh, I'm slightly stronger than you, so please give me all your points. Of course, I still need to beat him. So d4, I had black. I wasn't really sure what to play. I just played something simple. It was the evening round. d4, d5, c4 takes, e3, and now this bishop e6 move, which is looks really weird, but actually it's totally possible. Knight c3, c6. This is against d5, so he needs to win back this pawn somehow, and he wasn't really sure how to do it. His play became a bit tentative. That's the main idea behind this opening, honestly, to make white a bit uncomfortable. And while he's winning back this pawn on c4, we can get developed and maybe even develop some kind of initiative in the meantime. So c6, a4, which is kind of a waste of time because I don't really want to play b5 anyway, but I thought, okay, fine, I'll just develop. Knight f6, e4, g6. The bishop, of course, blocks the other bishop, so need to do something. Knight f3, I just played h6. I thought he already made two dubious moves. I can play a passive-ish move, keeping his knight out. h3, bishop g7, bishop e3. And now I just decided to go for it. I could just play totally normal and boring moves. And I think that would have been the best idea. So he needs to win back the pawn somehow. He can do it in two ways. Either knight e5 to c4 or knight d2 to c4. He didn't play any of these moves. But, oh yeah, actually it's my move now. And I just played queen a5. Threatening e4 already. And that would also kind of open up my bishop. So it's kind of a double threat, so to speak. And after queen d2, I had a b5 move, which looks really cool, I think. Of course, the idea being that a takes b5 is not possible because the queen would take the rook. So this was made possible because he moved his queen. After this, he wasn't sure what he was supposed to do, like you don't really want to allow b4 or whatnot, so he just pushed in the center with d5. I took, and now he made an error here. He should have just taken b5, b from like Berlin, not d from Denver, because this forces me to trade queens, and now knight a6, so everything is a bit awkward now. Suddenly, this is equal, believe it or not. I'm not 100% sure why, but yeah, at the moment I'm 2 pawns up, so yeah, I'm 2 pawns up and he can win back one, but he can't win back both very quickly. So I took on d5 instead, after which I'm winning another pawn. So I'm 2 pawns up. And my bishop is open. So this is basically a winning position for me. I don't know why I'm showing this particular move, thing like bishop protecting c4, but yeah, there you go. He smartly decided not to take back b5, but rather block this diagonal. Takes, takes. And now I played knight d7, so actually the best move in this case would have been, so of course he's threatening b5, but I can just play a6 because my rook is protected. Now I actually saw this, but what I wasn't happy about was a knight d4, threatening b5. Actually, there's a very easy way of covering this just by driving away the knight, and I'm just gonna stay up 2 pawns here. Weirdly enough, and I think what I saw at some point was knight c6. Yeah, knight c6 also works. So if he takes this guy, I can take this guy. And again, I'm just 2 pawns up, so this is basically an easy win for black. So yeah, I don't know why I didn't play this. So knight d4 is what I was afraid of, but I have two different ways of meeting it. If he plays knight c6, I play bishop c6, and I'm even attacking a4. Not that I will probably do it, but yeah. So this was an easy win, actually. Knight d7, I had a specific idea in mind. A takes b5. I took this knight. Of course, it's kind of a reluctant thing, but I thought, well, it's just going to keep the position simple. Let's relax, and let's just do our job. Let's take it, and knight b6. And of course, now I have this extra pawn, and he has this broken pawn structure. But somehow, actually, the computer isn't very impressed. He actually just wants to play. Doesn't matter too much, actually, but he just likes the way the bishop gets active somehow on the long diagonal. So bishop g2. It's a bit tough, actually, to make a move because he's gonna play f4 and attack my my rook. My idea was here e6, f4, knight d5. But now amazingly weird moves. f5 is one thing that computer wants to play, but rook a4 looks good enough too. So he just wins back this pawn now. And I'm in a pin, and it's just ugly. So he can basically equalize like this. But he played long castles, and here I missed a very good move. That I missed also the next few moves. So a6 here is very strong because there's no way he can cover b5. It's impossible right now. So he needs to take, after which, of course, I will get the a file here. And if he plays king b2, I can just castle, bring the rook, and kill him. Yeah, and his kingside is so lagging so much in development. It's actually very tough for him to defend against this. And I think even some kind of ending without any rooks will be quite good. So let's say he does something like this. Oh yeah, I don't even need to take this, right? I can just play, yeah, knight a4, that's what I thought. And now, yeah. I have a very nice knight here. Definitely stronger than his bishop, at the moment at least, so. Yeah. So bishop g2 he played. And again I missed a6. So I just went to my rook, okay. f4, he finally managed to do it. e6, king c2, king g7. So here kind of shuffling around. Rook a1, knight d5, and this was he made another mistake here. He should just take my pawn. I should take his pawn, and then we're gonna make some kind of a draw here probably, but not sure. Of course, it still looks better for me, to be honest, but well. Yeah, what the heck? I still have two pawns here. Ah, no, sorry, just one. Just one, and he's the only one who has a passed pawn. I still need to work for it. Okay, so actually I played knight d5, and he just took it. Rook takes. So I'm still a pawn up, and he still has bad pawns. So I was thinking, come on, this is a double rook endgame. The pawn structure is very important in double rook endgames. It's just that after here, I have a very strong move again that I just missed. Rook h5. And so I was always afraid of, oh no, he's gonna activate his rook and take my pawns. But I mean, I have only one weak pawn, right? He has 3. So if I can pick up these three while he picks up one, then that's a very good deal for me. So this is an example variation. Rook d4, rook h3, rook c4, rook f3. And now, yeah, he can't take f2. He can't protect f2, so yeah, this is not totally forced, but this is one variation. So rook d5, and now he should have just taken my rook and went on from there. It still goes on, but it's not as strong as rook h5 there. So he played rook d7, which is of course kind of a cute way of protecting your rooks. But again, I just have rook h5, and it's still equally strong as last time. On the other hand, I just took on d1. He took with the king, rook a8, so this is not a bad move. Rook d4, and now this is kind of the last thing I want to show you. So after rook d4, I should just give this check, and again, just play for activity. Rook h1, again, attacking his stupid pawns. h3 is not to be protected. Rook c4, rook h3, king f1, rook h4. I mean, this is just some kind of an example variation, but you can see that basically what's going to happen here is he will need to give up his pawn, and now I'm gonna be 4 against 2, which should be an easy win. King g2, I just come in. Yeah, so rook c8 to protect c4, but now, yeah, this just didn't really work out. Again, I played another 25 moves or so, but never really got as close to winning as the stuff that I showed you before. So both of these games were draws. Both of them, basically, I had some kind of pawn advantages. The second one was, of course, I had more winning. Well, it's hard to say. So the first one, I got into an endgame without any winning chances. Of course, Magnus Carlsen would have beaten me probably with both colors, but it doesn't mean I have winning chances. Well, hopefully not with both colors, but yeah. Sorry. In this one, I basically didn't play the ending very well. I was a bit upset during the game, thinking that I could have won in the opening. It turns out no, I played the opening well, or at least in an interesting way. But then I just needed some more patience or just accuracy. I just didn't play very accurately in the end game. I somehow need to get some better intuition in the end games. I think what's going on, honestly, is I'm getting into endgames more nowadays than I used to. So I used to just blunder away the game or just win through some blunders. And nowadays I'm getting into these weird endgames all the time. And I don't have very good candidate moves in my head, or I don't really manage to figure out what's going on. You might have noticed, yes, I had 2 or 3 games during this season where I lost or I threw away endgames from winning positions. And this is exactly what I did here, although the first one I messed up in the middle game, let's say, and got into a drawn endgame. But this one, yeah, I had a lot of different ways of winning, and I just didn't take any of them. So, I mean, kudos to my opponent, or both of my opponents, for hanging in there and figuring out how to stop me. So yeah, at the time some kind of a huge champion, but yeah, they stopped me. They did. So yeah, well, yeah, thanks for watching. And 2 draws, a bit bittersweet. How many pawns does it take to let me win? Stick around for not next week's, but tomorrow's video on Sunday's games to figure it out. Thanks a lot. See you around.